Good morning, children. Welcome to the geography class. In today's class, we are going to continue the chapter 2 Inside or Earth. In the previous class, we have discussed about the layers of the earth, right? In today's class, we are going to continue the rocks and minerals. First, what is a rock? Our earth interior is made up of 3 layers, right? What are they? Crust, mantle, and core. The Earth's crust is fully made up of various types of rocks. It is made up of 2 or more minerals. All rocks are made up of minerals. The Earth crust is fully made up of rocks. Any natural mass of mineral matter that makes up the Earth crust is called as a rock. Any matter that makes up the Earth crust is a rock. The rocks can be of different colors, different sizes and different textures. There are 3 types of rocks are there: sedimentary, metamorphic and igneous. What are the 3 types of rocks? Sedimentary rocks, metamorphic rocks and igneous rocks. First we are going to see about igneous rocks. When the molten magma present in the mantle layer cools, it becomes solid. It becomes hard. It forms the rocks. When the magma present in the layer, it cools and it becomes solid. This forms the rocks. These rocks are called as igneous rocks. They are also called as primary rocks. There are 2 types of igneous rocks are there. They are intrusive rocks and extrusive rocks. What are the 2 types of igneous rocks? Intrusive rocks and extrusive rocks. What is meant by igneous rocks? The rocks thus formed by the magma. When the magma cools, it becomes solid and forms the rock. That rocks are called as igneous rocks. There are 2 types of igneous rocks are there: intrusive and extrusive rocks. Okay. And can you imagine lava comes out from the volcanoes? Yes, lava is actually a fiery red molten magma come out from the inside of the earth on its surface. When this molten lava come out on the earth's surface, it rapidly cool down and become solid. Yes, when the lava comes out on the earth's surface, it cool down and it becomes solid. This forms the rocks. These molten lava forms the rocks. These rocks are called as extrusive igneous rocks. The rocks formed on the surface is called as extrusive igneous rocks, and they have a very fine grained structure. For example, basalt. This basalt rock is mainly present in the Deccan Plateau. The Deccan Plateau is made up of basalt rocks. Sometimes the molten magma cool down deep inside the earth crust. When it is cooled down on the surface, it is called as extrusive rock. When the molten magma cool down inside the crust is called as intrusive igneous rocks. Since they cool down slowly, they form large grains. The granite is an example of this intrusive igneous rocks. And grinding stones used to prepare paste and powder of species and grains are made of granite. The granite is the example of intrusive igneous rocks, and basalt is the example of extrusive igneous rocks. The rocks formed on the surface is called as extrusive rocks, and the rocks from the underground or inside of the crust is called as earth crust is called as intrusive rocks. Okay, these are about the igneous rocks. And next we are going to see about sedimentary rocks. The rocks roll down or crack and hit each other. They are broken down into small pieces. When the rocks roll down or crack or hit each other, they are broken down into small pieces. These small particles, these small pieces are called as sediments. The broken down small pieces are called as particles are called as sediments. These sediments are transported and deposited by wind and water. These loose sediments are compressed or hardened to form layers of rocks like this. These types of rocks are called as sedimentary rocks. Okay, when the rocks are broken down, they form the sedimentary rocks like this. These form the layers of rocks. These rocks are called as sedimentary rocks. For example, chert, conglomerate, limestone, rock salt, shale, sandstone are the examples of sedimentary rocks. These rocks may also contain fossils of plants, animals and other microorganisms that once lived on them. Okay, and the sandstone is made from the grains of sand. Okay, and these igneous and sedimentary rocks can change into metamorphic rocks. Now let us going to see about the metamorphic rocks. The igneous and sedimentary rocks can change into metamorphic rocks under great heat and pressure. When the igneous and sedimentary rocks goes under the pressure or heat, it can be changed into metamorphic rocks. For example, clay change into slate and limestones change into marble. Slate is formed from clay and the marble is formed from limestone. These are the examples of metamorphic rocks. And these rocks are very useful for us, right? The hard rocks are used for making roads, houses and buildings. And we are uses the stones in many games. For example, 7 stones, hopscotch, 5 stones, and find out some more such games by asking your parents, their grandparents. They are also use the stones to play such games, right? And you will surprised to know that one type of rock changes into another type of rocks in certain conditions in a cyclic manner. In a cyclic manner, one type of rock is changed into another type of rock. This process of transformation of rock from one into another is called as rock cycle. The transformation of one rock into another rock in a certain condition is called as rock cycle. And we have already learned that when the molten magma cools, it solidifies to become igneous rock. When the magma cool down, it forms the igneous rocks. And these igneous rocks are broken down into small particles that are transported or deposited to form sedimentary rocks. When the magma cools down, it forms igneous rocks, and the igneous rocks are broken down into small particles that form sedimentary rock. When the igneous and sedimentary rocks are subjected to heat and pressure, they change into metamorphic rocks. When the igneous and sedimentary rocks heated and applied by pressure, they can change into metamorphic rocks. The metamorphic rocks which are still under great heat and pressure melt down to form molten magma. When the metamorphic rocks are cooled down to form molten magma. This molten magma again can cool down and solidify into igneous rocks. Okay, this is the cycle of rocks. This is called as the rock cycle. The transformation of one type of rocks into another type is called a rock cycle. And rocks are made up of different minerals, right? Minerals are naturally acquiring substances which have certain physical properties and also chemical composition. And minerals are very important for us, right? Some are used as fuels like gold, natural gas, petroleum. These are the fuels which are used by us, right? These are minerals. And some minerals are used in industries like iron, aluminum, gold, uranium. These are used in industries, and in medicine and fertilizers also we are using minerals. So these minerals are very important for us. These are minerals are made, the rocks are mainly made up of different types of minerals. Yes, today we have discussed about the rocks and minerals. I hope you all are understand this. Thank you, students.